I will call the Judiciary Committee meeting for May 28th to order. Roll call is President Michelle Shea, Hattie Thatcher, Dan Callahan, and Trudy Healy. Excused tonight are Eric Minkins and Bill Anderson. Item number 1, communication number 2025-79, Michelle Shea, Commissioner District 2, requesting County Attorney Enruth to draft a resolution defining a policy and procedure for the City County to respond to Freedom of Information Act FOIA requests. County Attorney Enruth.
Thank you, Madam Chair. The edits from the last Judiciary meeting have been made. One of the big ones that we didn't discuss that I did make was the caption. This is technically the policy that's going to be enacted by the resolution, so I modified this just to read Butte-Silver County procedure for requesting public records and for the collection of a fee schedule. At the very end, the requests that this council made were, as you can see in paragraph 5, the individual making the request will be notified within 10 days via email or certified mail that the request has been received. Then if we go to the records request form, you can see that the email address has been added to there so the individuals can write that down. Also, I added a received byline so that we can know who actually received it in my office. And those were the last couple small edits that the Judiciary asked me to make. Other than that, I think it's ready to proceed forward.
Do any committee members have any input, questions for the county attorney, comments? Commissioner Callahan.
I was just curious if a commissioner wanted some of these records, are we entitled to pay the same price as the citizens, or are we exempt, or everybody's equal?
Commissioner Callahan, everybody is equal. That's an interesting question I've asked myself. What, as elected officials, what process do we have to go through to obtain this type of information, or if we wanted to make a public comment on everything? Just because we are elected officials, it does not mean we lose our right to free speech or to have to go through the same processes as everybody else. So yes, if a commissioner on this council requested simple FOIA information, we would fill it out and they would pay the same price as everybody else, and we would get it to them in the same amount of time.
Thank you, County Attorney Enruth. Commissioner Callahan.
I got a follow-up. So when the county attorney's office needs some of this information, does your office pay also?
Commissioner Callahan, it depends on what I would be requesting. So if my office is requesting FOIA information specifically for my office, I actually don't ever see where that would come into play. I mean, I have access to all of the records in the courthouse. I can request them because I am the county attorney. So if we're talking about contracts or anything like that, I simply make the request of the director.
Commissioner Callahan.
Well, the wheels are turning, but I feel this, the council could come under a similar situation where in order for us to do a resolution or get some information, if we need that information, are we required to have to pay for it? Or, this is stuff that our job is to do ordinances and resolutions.
County Attorney.
Commissioner Callahan, that's a different question. If you're just requesting it as a private citizen, you have to go through this process. If you're requesting as a commissioner related to something with your job, you would definitely send it to me or to the director of that department, and we would proceed forward that way. You would not be subject to the FOIA request.
Okay.
Yes, I misunderstood. Yes, if you were asking as a citizen, you go through this process.
Right,
if you're asking as a commissioner, we can come through my office.
Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Callahan. Thank you, County Attorney Enruth. Does that need to be lined out in here? Okay. Because, I was going to have a real problem with that. Yes, and that was going to be my question as you were talking, was like in the capacity of a private citizen, in the capacity of a public official. This applies to public citizens, members of the public, in that capacity. I just have a question on, under Section 1 procedures, should that say procedure, or do we need to add policy and procedure to the title?
Madam Chair, just for sake of continuity, we can, yes, it should just say policy and policy. Or policy, or procedure and procedure is how I would like it to read. Because it is the procedure for following, yeah.
Oh, I see.
Commissioner Anderson, do you have anything to add with this?
No, thank you.
Okay. Let the record show that Commissioner Anderson is present as well. Okay, I'm satisfied with this in its current form. I think I would like to, what's our motion? To request the county to hold this in abeyance and request the county attorney to draft the resolution to introduce to Judiciary.
Madam Chair, that is correct. The next step, procedurally speaking, would be to hold this, request that my office draft the resolution, which I will then introduce next week. The resolution itself will be requesting that we adopt this procedure, and then it will go back to committee for final vote and reading.
Thank you for confirming that. And that also means that this might be in final form for tonight, but there is opportunity to make changes if something were to come up. I don't anticipate too much coming forward now, but there is still time. So I would entertain a motion.
I just have a quick question.
Commissioner Thatcher.
I think County Attorney Enruth might have just touched on this, but I was writing this down and kind of zoned out. So if full council wants to discuss this, is that something that we should send out first before drafting the resolution? Or are we just rocking with it? I'm cool either way, I'm just curious.
I believe, Commissioner Thatcher, that this language would be the resolution that gets introduced with the language. Please correct me if I'm wrong.
Commissioner Thatcher, Madam Chair, so this would be the policy that is attached to the resolution. The resolution is going to ask to adopt basically attached Exhibit A. So you will have it for review to be able to ask questions on during the readings. Yeah.
Thank you, Commissioner Thatcher. And this procedure will be attached to the resolution request for the public to see it?
Correct.
Okay. Wonderful. Okay. Commissioner Healy.
I did have a citizen who was watching us and asked for a copy of what we were going over. Is that, I didn't give it because I didn't know if I could or not.
Madam Chair, Commissioner Healy, that is correct. What we were working on is a draft. This copy will be attached to the resolution that gets submitted, so they will then have access to that full copy, so they would be able to see it and then come in and make comments in the next judiciary meetings with regards to it proceeding forward. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Healy and County Attorney Enruth. Commissioner Thatcher.
Thank you. At this time, I'd like to make a motion to hold in abeyance communication number 2025-79 and request the county attorney's office to draw up a resolution.
A motion and a second to hold communication 2025-79 in abeyance and request the county attorney's office to introduce a resolution. Anything on the question? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Item number 2, communication number 2025-239, Chris Kellogg, Ramsey School Principal, requesting Council of Commissioners authorization to approve a 2-acre parcel of Silver County land directly north of the Ramsey School in Ramsey, Montana. County Attorney Enruth.
Madam Chair, yes, this is the time and place for the discussion with regards to communication 2025-239, which is also in conjunction with Resolution 2025-28. in which the City of Ramsey has requested that Butte-Silver County sell them a 2-acre parcel that is adjacent to their school so that they can effectively build onto their school. Right now, what is currently located on the property are very old mobile home structures, basically essentially tin cans that are housing students that they're teaching out there. So this is the time and place set for discussion on these matters.
Thank you, County Attorney Enruth. Any input from the commissioners? No? Okay, procedurally. Would we refer this, hold this in the committee of the whole pending the resolution, and then at that time, we would cross-reference those two, the resolution and the communication?
Madam Chair, say that again.
So because the resolution is further down on the agenda, right?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you. I love it when I'm right. Okay. Well, I probably didn't speak it very clearly. Okay. All right, Commissioner Thatcher. We don't want it on the Judiciary. Right? Yeah.
Yeah.
We want to hold this in committee of the whole. Okay.
So do I, pending resolution, because that's what we're waiting for? Okay, at this time, I'd like to make a motion to hold communication number 2025-239 in the committee of the whole pending the resolution.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to hold in abeyance communication number 2025-239, hold in the committee of the whole pending the resolution. Anything on the question? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Moving on to ordinances and resolutions. Number 1, Council Bill 2025-02, ordinance number 2025-02, an ordinance creating Chapter 2.73 of City County of Butte-Silver Municipal Code entitled Business Improvement District Board of Trustees, establishing and providing for an effective date herein. Commissioner Thatcher.
Thank you, Chairwoman Shea. At this time, I'd like to make a motion to move Council Bill number 2025-02, ordinance number 2025-02 to second reading.
Second.
There's a motion and a second to move Council Bill 2025-02, ordinance number 2025-02 to second reading. Anything on the question? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Item number 2, resolution number 2025-24, a resolution amending the budget during the fiscal year after conducting a public hearing at a regularly scheduled meeting of the Council of Commissioners in accordance with Section 7-6-4006 MCA, appropriating unanticipated revenue from the Environmental Protection Agency Environmental and Climate Justice Block Grant for the purpose of constructing the Butte Community Resilience Hub and for providing for an effective date herein. County Attorney Enruth, do you have a report?
No.
Okay. Okay, Commissioner Thatcher.
Thank you, Madam Chair. At this time, I'd like to make a motion to move resolution number 2025-24 to final reading.
There is a motion and a second to move resolution number 2025-24 to final reading. Anything on the question? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Item number 3, resolution 2025-26, a resolution amending the budget during the fiscal year after conducting a public hearing at a regularly scheduled meeting of the Council of Commissioners in accordance with Section 7-6-4006 MCA, appropriating unanticipated revenue from the Multi-Pathway Program Trust Account proceeds and providing for an effective date herein. Commissioner Thatcher.
Thank you, Madam Chair Shea. I'd like to make a motion to move resolution number 2025-26 to final reading.
There's a motion and a second to move resolution 2025-26 to final reading. Anything on the question? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Item number 4, resolution number 2025-27, a resolution amending the budget during the fiscal year after conducting a public hearing at a regularly scheduled meeting of the Council of Commissioners in accordance with Section 7-6-4006 MCA, appropriating unanticipated revenue from the Superfund Program trust account proceeds and providing for an effective date herein. Commissioner Thatcher.
Thank you, Madam Chair Shea. I'd like to make a motion to move resolution number 2025-27 to final reading.
Motion and a second to move resolution 2025-27 to final. Anything on the question? All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion passes 5-0. Item number 5, resolution number 2025-28, a resolution authorizing and approving the sale of a certain parcel of surplus parkland property owned by the city and county of Butte-Silver Bow, known as Public Park in Block 1, adjacent to a portion of Lot 1, Lots 2 through 6, a portion of Lot 7 and Lot 11 of the Ramsey Town Site in the city county of Butte-Silver Bow, state of Montana, and providing for an effective date herein. Commissioner Thatcher.
Thank you, Madam Chair Shea. At this time, I'd like to make a motion to move resolution number 2025-28 to final reading.
Is there a second? There's a motion and a second to move resolution 2025-28 to final reading. Is there anything on the question? Commissioner Anderson.
Thank you. I was going through this resolution a couple times. I remember 2 weeks ago when we discussed this in committee that we were talking about a clawback clause and some other language in here. And looking at this resolution, I do not see any of that language in here. Was it?
Should have been submitted, yes. There should have been a clause that specifically states that if they don't use, I'm sorry. Commissioner Anderson, yes, the resolution had additional language added to it that specifically stated if they failed to use it for the intended purposes, they were required to give it back. Let me pull it up as well to see if I can find it. I printed it off and left it downstairs, so I apologize.
I was wondering if this may have been an original copy because I didn't see any red lines through this, but.
I try not to provide the red line copies because we are looking at, passing through.
Mm-hmm.
So let's see here. Commissioner Anderson, if you look at page 2, line 9, it says, whereas in support of the School District Number 3 project, subject to the condition that the property will be conveyed back to the city county should School District Number 3 choose to sell the property.
I do see it. Thank you. I stand corrected.
I was worried momentarily.
I read over it 3 or 4 times and I did not, my brain wasn't working, obviously. Thank you very much for pointing that out. I did want to make sure that was in there to protect all the parties involved and try to make this transfer as smooth as possible. Also, in the idea of making this smooth as possible is, I know the law states that if we're selling property, that we have to do it for fair market value. I know in other situations in the past, the county has sold certain parcels of land or buildings, et cetera, for a lot less than that. Is there a reason why we're sticking to the 15,500 for the school district, or could we remedy or find a remedy to lower that cost to the school, being as it is for education and the school?
Commissioner Anderson, the only reason I left it in there is because that process has already been completed. It went through commission, it went through the land sales, that was the price everybody agreed upon. We're simply at the resolution process,
Okay.
and that was the agreed upon price between the parties.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
I would like to lower it, that's completely fine, but I think we're well past the process. I appreciate the thought, though.
Thank you, Commissioner Anderson and County Attorney Enruth. Okay, there's a motion and a second to move this resolution 2025-28 to final. Do you have on the question? One more on the question. Commissioner Callahan.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I know in the past, we've had some clawback years. Do we have a year's timeline in there or not?
County Attorney Enruth.
Commissioner Callahan, no, there's not a timeline with regards to them on when they have to build, what procedurally they are required to build. It's simply if they ever decide to sell the land. So there's no time frame on the clawback clause in it, particularly because it's a school. It may take them some time to build this project with regards to funding and things like that. I was just simply asked to draft the resolution. I looked at everything that was discussed in the Land Sales Committee and the previous resolutions and what they looked at doing going forward, and it's simply if they ever decide to sell it, it comes back. Otherwise, it simply just remains school property, open park.
Thank you. Any follow-ups? No? Okay. Motion and a second to move resolution 2025-28 to final reading. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes 5-0. That is the end of the agenda. I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
We are adjourned.